Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, protesting workers shut National Assembly complex over unpaid wages. They want National Assembly leaders to pay their emoluments or forfeit their legislative sit-in. President Muhammad Buhari restates commitment to rescue remaining Chibok girls, says that Nigeria will welcome any kind of support from any quarters to make this happen. And Vice President Yemi Osinbajo alleges gang up against President Muhammad Buhari by some politicians over his people's-friendly policies. He insists the president remains the best man for the job. And France postpones fuel tax hikes for 6 months following weeks of violent protests across major cities.
And on business news tonight, federal government targets February 2019 deadline to deliver a portion of the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge rail project.
On sports news tonight, Russian athletes will remain banned from international competitions after the IAAF upheld the country's suspension into 2019.
And from Abuja, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission begins move to extradite former Petroleum Minister Diezani Alison Madueke for corruption trial.
We begin tonight from the nation's capital, Abuja, where some staff of the National Assembly are protesting over what they describe as unfair treatment and poor working conditions. The aggrieved staff blocked the 2 chambers of the National Assembly and even prevented some federal lawmakers from gaining access into their offices. They're accusing the clerk of the National Assembly of refusing to implement the increase in their salaries, which was agreed upon earlier in the year, and denying them their due promotions. Our National Assembly correspondent, Terry Kumi, reports.
Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria take over the lobby of the National Assembly in protest over what they describe as unfair treatment and poor working conditions. They insist that federal lawmakers will not be allowed to sit for plenary until their demands are met. True to their word, as some lawmakers arrive, the protesting National Assembly staff deny them entry, chanting "no pay, no sitting." The crowd even refuses to be addressed by the Deputy Senate President, prompting him to walk away in frustration. The chairman of the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria insists that the protest is peaceful.
What we are doing presently is a peaceful picketing. It's a peaceful picketing and is a signal of warning to the leadership of National Assembly because of the myriad of problems that are militating against the welfare of our teaming staffs. Because we've written to them early this year, almost 8 months ago, and nothing seems to be happening. And you agree with me that they are almost on their way out of this place.
The leader of the Senate eventually addresses the crowd.
It is our assumption that the leadership of PASAN would have passed this information to his followership to allow the National Assembly chambers to operate from tomorrow, Wednesday, and of course through Thursday. We have also agreed that even the other major issues, like the reconstitution of the National Assembly Service Commission, would be achieved in the next 2 days or so before Friday runs out.
The clerk of the National Assembly, who is the man in the eye of the workers, Tom, explains the delay in implementing the new salary structure.
There was an increase. We approved an increase payment for them, which was captured in the 2018 budget. But as it is today, it's a common knowledge about the level of implementation of the 2018 budget, especially the new addition to National Assembly, which has not been implemented. And that's where we had hoped that that addition will be paid. So to the extent that the money is not released, there's no way we can affect the payment. I wrote to them. I don't know whether you've seen my response. And I also had a series of formal and informal consultations with their leadership all through yesterday. They bid to make them back out of what is clearly an act that is not in tune with the with even their own rules.
In a statement he earlier released, the clerk put the issue of non-release of promotion letters down to certain factors such as non-existent vacancies, suspicious career progression records, wrong effective date of promotion, among others. A similar protest of a lesser magnitude was held on October the 9th when federal lawmakers resumed from their long break. This time, the protesters insist they are sticking to their guns. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
The Cross River State Police Command has denied reports of a breakout of crisis in 4 communities in Biase local government area of the state where several persons were reportedly killed. According to the State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Hafiz Enure, the information is fake, misleading, and a compendium of lies calculated to cause tension, fear, and panic in the state. The police chief says that although there have been some cases of violence in the affected communities for a while now, security agencies are trying their best to put the problem under control.
There was a report that some people sustained injuries. And those that sustained injuries have been taken to hospitals where they are receiving treatment. And my take to them is that whoever is not willing to lay down his or her own arms, we are ready to force ourselves into these communities, and we will deal decisively with anybody who wants to foment trouble in this state. What we are after is peace. And peace must reign in Cross River.
President Muhammad Buhari is again pledging the readiness of his government to ensure that the remaining Chibok schoolgirls kidnapped by Boko Haram terrorists in April 2014 are safely released. President Muhammad Buhari made this comment at a bilateral meeting with the President of Switzerland, Alain Berset, on the sidelines of the UN Climate Change Conference in Katowice, Poland. The President thanked the Swiss Confederation for its efforts as intermediaries in securing the release of some of the Chibok schoolgirls, as well as commitment to continue providing humanitarian assistance to internally displaced persons in Nigeria. According to the President, Buhari's quote, "We will continue to make the safe release of the remaining Chibok girls a priority and will welcome any kind of support from any quarter to make this happen," end of quote. Besides the Swiss leader, the President also met with several world leaders at the international conference, where he had earlier delivered his national address on the opening day of COP24. These include separate bilateral meetings with the President and Prime Minister of Poland, where he commended the host country for a successful outing at the opening of the COP24 meeting in Katowice. President Buhari told his Polish counterpart, President Duda, that Nigeria was facing serious climate change challenges, particularly the receding of Lake Chad, which is a source of livelihood to some 40 million people living in the region. The ongoing industrial action by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, will continue after the latest meeting with the Minister of Education, Mr. Adamu, ended without any agreement. This is coming a week after both parties failed to reach an agreement at the meeting held on Monday, November 26, 2018. This latest meeting, which was held at the Ministry of Education, lasted over 4 hours, and the National President of the Union, Professor Abiodun Ogunyemi, led the ASU delegation. Aside from the Education Minister, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Mr. Sonny Echono, representative of the National Universities Commission, the NUC, and representative from the National Income, Wages and Salaries Commission were part of the federal government delegation. The union started the industrial action on November the 5th to protest the poor funding of Nigerian universities and alleged plans by the federal government to increase students' fees and introduce an education bank, as well as non-implementation of previous agreements.
We have started to discuss. Our discussions are continuing, and for now, we are here to reach any concrete decision. So as soon as we have more information, we will make available to the press. Thank you.
When are you reconvening?
Very soon. Very soon. So we are to meet again.
Still at the federal level, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, says that there is a gang-up against President Muhammadu Buhari by some Nigerian elites who wish him dead because they want to usurp the fortunes of the country. Professor Osinbajo criticized those who peddle stories that the president has been cloned, emphasizing that the president is alive and will win re-election at the 2019 polls. He equally condemned the waste of resources by the previous administration and has asked Nigerians to count the number of projects completed in the midst of the oil boom. Our correspondent Gloria Mezuke now reports.
The APC National Consultative Forum, attended by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, national leader of the APC, and other stakeholders in the party. Question after question on Nigeria's resources, Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo urged Nigerians to scrutinize the previous administration. He condemned allegations surrounding the president's cloning.
The issue in Nigeria has always been Muhammadu Buhari. And the simple reason is not because he's a perfect man. He's not. It is because he's an honest and truthful man. That's all. There's a gang up. All of them have ganged up against this one man called Muhammadu Buhari. All of them. And they have their collaborators everywhere. They have collaborators in business, in politics, in religion, everywhere. They have ganged up against this man. They prayed for him to die. He didn't die. The man came back alive and was stronger.
National leader of the All Progressives Congress says the president is too busy to respond to wild allegations as he criticized the activities of the Senate president.
The man who used our mandate to negotiate and give lifeline to the opposition. He let PDP join us, got election, got elected, got our mandate, our majority, and sold it for a pot of porridge. We have to look at Halliburton. Why did they leave Nigeria? Go and ask those questions. $16 billion of NEPA. And what they give us is darkness.
As campaigns towards the 2019 general elections build up, accusations and counter-accusations continue to flow to convince Nigerians to make the right choice at the upcoming polls. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
In the meantime, the Vice President has also flagged off the door-to-door campaign at the Nyanya and Karu suburbs of the Federal Capital Territory for the re-election bid of President Muhammadu Buhari in the 2019 general election. Professor Osinbajo was received by residents of the area who thronged out en masse as he went from one end of the community to another. Addressing the crowd at Karu, Professor Osinbajo urged the residents to vote for President Muhammadu Buhari at the polls because of his honesty and zero tolerance for corruption, which he says is guaranteed to secure a better future for Nigeria.
Thank you so much. For honest and decent and hardworking Nigerians, the President Muhammadu Buhari, is a person who has devoted his life to ensuring that the life of the common man, the life of the average person, is made better. Sometimes it's not easy to do so. You are going to see a better Nigeria. But that better Nigeria can only come if the government is honest, if the government is not stealing our money. If the government is honest, we will build. All the roads, for instance, we are doing Lagos Enure now. We are doing Port Harcourt Maiduguri now. With little money, we are doing much more because we are not allowed stealing our resources.
Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. In part two, after the break, Nigerian Immigration Service warns immigrants living in Lagos to keep away from the electoral process in the country as they are not eligible to participate. Please stay with us.